Hello and welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode on Mafia, driving a bike around the place. Now, bikes can often be quite dangerous in these sort of games. Things can go wrong quite easily. Very easy to fall off them and all of that. However, for the most part, things go relatively well so far. The thing is, well, physics sometimes has enough of your shenanigans, and a little bounce on the, I guess it's got the landing there, pinged the bike off the back of a car. It's wonderfully parked, I will say. 10 out of 10 on the parking job, just new underwear was needed. Just Cause 3 next, with an aircraft on a train. Now these things are notoriously glitchy, and sure enough another train is coming. The player jumps back in the aircraft as the trains collide. The plane, amazingly, survives. It actually manages to take off. That is not a conventional way to launch an aircraft. I'm going to say that's not how you want to launch an aircraft at all. But it worked. Just. And didn't actually look like the aircraft took any damage either in all that one. Skull is up next on R Factor 2 with a cart vehicle getting things, well, all sorts of out of shape. Now the initial spin is one thing, but then gets collected by everything else, and then we're off to the cartwheels. Down the track is a number of cartwheels as a front wheel pings off, and then we go for a couple of rolls for good luck, and then land on the wheels. Yeah, that's a nasty accident. Almost got away with it, not being too bad. And then, yeah, the rest of the AI field hit them. Mike is up next on Automobilista 2, going towards the first corner at the Red Bull Ring. Gets things a little sideways in the Williams-style car, gathers it all back up, but as everything sort of stacks up behind, there's just not quite enough space for 3 wide, and everything then all goes drastically wrong as the cars bounce and spin across the track. 4 or 5 cars make it through, there's a wheel pinging its way down the road, and everything's stuck in that lot. As I said, there's a simple enough mistake going through that first corner, and just sort of too many vehicles appear all together. The AIs do sort themselves out, I will say that much. The amount of times we've seen these sort of crashes, the AIs just completely freak out and get confused. They do figure out how to get going again, though, which is something. Ivan up next on Assetto Corsa. This with more, well, it's just the crash that doesn't seem to want to stop. The AI's involved here not quite knowing where to go. The Bentley's in, Mercedes gets hit. The Audi tries to rejoin very badly and punts the Lamborghini into the wall. It's not the best piece of rejoining going on there. We're to Assetto Corsa next. Now this is again, these are modded roads and a modded car. Things go wrong for the AI driving it, hits the wall, and the car behind has nowhere to go. Now, it's a Zeta, I believe, is the white car here that's in front. Just gets a lot of understeer and pings off a tree. The Porsche doesn't have anywhere to go, just uses it as a ramp. You know, no problems for the... Never, it's 1 and 2, well, 1.5 rolls. Skids along on its roof on that one. Supra Crash up next on Project Cars with a classic Escort that has very broken suspension. What causes it to go at this point in time, I'm not sure. It was driving okay, but now it looks like something out of Cars. It's a very weird suspension failure that's going on with this one. You can see it's the front left wheel is... Something's very unhappy with it. It's pinging around randomly, and I can't quite figure out why. It does calm down as a vehicle. I mean, the slower the vehicles is going, the sort of calmer the whole suspension shenanigans is. If it's parked stationary, it's fine. As soon as it starts moving again, yep, we're going to go to glitchy, ping the thing up into the wheel well and try and roll it over. Thankfully, it happens right next to the pit lane. Almost does actually fall over at that particular one, but I would say quite a big mechanical fault is going on with that car. I mean... It's possessed, pretty much. G-Mac up next on a Beam NG Drive with a wonderful bit of karma. This, messing around with the late model mod, doing some racing, punts the AI in front quite heavily, who can't quite gather it all back up. They spin back down off the wall, collect the player's vehicle, that then spins up into the wall, and then gets pile-drived by someone further back, and then it's a big old crash. Yeah, the old bump and run did not end up quite so well in all of that. It wasn't an intentional bump and run for the player, I don't think, but here we go. Douglas up next with a rocket car. I mean, rocket cars are fun, of course. They go very fast and don't really have any control. This one, though, having got things wrong and hit a wall, decides it actually wants to be a rocket. Yes, it flies surprising. I mean, if I built that in Kerbal Space Program, that out of control and still went that far vertically upwards, I would be impressed. It does eventually lose control and start spinning sort of around in a circle rather than going up, but... yeah, I'm amazed how well controlled that was for a completely wrecked thing that hit a wall and how well it flew. I mean, okay, it's covered a little bit of distance, but not all that much as it comes crashing back down. There's nothing left of the car. Can't really tell it was a Kashira. But there we go. It turns out can make a rocket people carrier. Black and Red up next on Mean Greens. Another game we haven't seen before, but another game where, yes, you can roll vehicles. I mean, this one fallen over within, I don't know, 10 seconds of the game starting. Where there is a car, there is a way to fall over. And that one managed to bounce off. I think it was like a big sort of toy truck. And finally, Maxia on Burnout 3 with infinitely exploding something going on. Something very peculiar was going on with the fuel tanker, and as it was kind of rolled over, the fire engine here that they're driving goes on top of it. It gets launched all the way to space. Not quite as far as the Kashira got, but got launched a long way up to space. Sadly, that's well away from the sort of crash junction. Not going to help the points. A big flight, but not gonna help the points particularly. But there we go. That is going to be it for this week's FailRace episode. As ever, if you have clips like submitted to this series, you can via our forums. There is a link in the description. At the very top of the page is the FailRace clip submission section, and there you can find all of the rules and how to submit them. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.